It takes a lot to be a legend in any sport. Sportspersons spend their lives plying their trade, intending to earn the respect of sports lovers. Cricketers are no different. Indian cricketers, especially, carry the burden of expectations of more than a billion fans. It takes a lot to be a legend in any sport. Sportspersons spend their lives plying their trade, intending to earn the respect of sports lovers. Cricketers are no different. Indian cricketers, especially, carry the burden of expectations of more than a billion fans. Number 7. He thought he had broken his leg. Although India had struggled to produce too many quality fast bowlers until recent times, it produced some gems along the way. Javagal Srinath was one of them. The pacer couldn't only bowl well, but he could also bowl really fast. Referencing an India vs Zimbabwe match in 1997, Alastair Campbell said, "Srinath I think bowled the quickest that any of our guys had ever seen." In a conversation with John Ward, Campbell narrated a story from a match at Boland Bank Park. Indian attack was led by Srinath. He said about Srinath, "He bowled a really quick spell early on, even quicker than Alan Donald. He was timed at 157 kmph, a good 10 kmph faster than Donald was bowling throughout the tournament. Being able to bowl as quick as the White Lightning will make a bowler proud. It's another thing bowling 10 kmph quicker than the South African pacer." Number 6. VVS Lakshman wasn't fit to play the Kolkata Test in 01. VVS Lakshman's 281 vs Australia at Kolkata in 2001 is widely regarded as one of the greatest innings ever played in Test matches. It is certainly the best innings played by an Indian batsman. VVS did not only play a magical knock, but also stitched an equally great partnership, 376, with Rahul Dravid, 180, to make the famous Australian bowling lineup go wicketless on the fourth day of the Test match. India went on to create a rare happenstance where a team won a Test match after being asked to follow on. What many fans may not know is that VVS wasn't supposed to play in the match. "I was not fit enough to play that Test match," Lakshman revealed later. He had some serious issues with his back. He played the match despite the injury, and it'd be an understatement to say that he played well. Obviously, it wasn't easy as he was struggling throughout the innings, but that prompted him to play his natural game. He also added that Rahul Dravid kept him motivated throughout the innings. VVS Lakshman is a true hero, and Indian fans should thank God that VVS played that Test. Number 5. If you behave, I will. It is common knowledge that Sourav Ganguly played a huge role in changing the landscape of Indian cricket in the early 2000s. He was a leader for the ages, and led India to some great triumphs during his run as national captain. It'd be an understatement to say that Dada had his own ways to unsettle the opposition, or sometimes to equal scores. In one of many famous tales, Sourav deliberately made Steve Waugh wait for the toss in Vizag during the India vs Australia ODI series in 2001. It was a statement made to the Aussies, who loved to play some mind games of their own. Ganguly later said that they had to show the Aussies, describing an incident between Australian coach John Buchanan and Indian pacer Javagal Srinath. During a match of the historic series in 2001, Srinath was coming off the field for something, when Buchanan asked him rudely why he was leaving the field. The Indian captain didn't like Buchanan's interference in his team's business. Later, during India's tour of Australia in 2003-04, when asked by Steve if he will be on time for the toss, he said, "If you behave, I will." Number 4. When Sachin played with tissues inside his underwear. Sachin had a lot to tell cricket lovers about cricket and himself in his autobiography. While some of the anecdotes and stories were amazing and mesmerizing, others a little embarrassing for him, and rather amusing. But they still show why the Master Blaster played for as long as he did. As the story goes, India had to face Sri Lanka at Johannesburg in the Super 6 feet stage of the 2003 ICC World Cup. But Tendulkar had an upset stomach, and he felt extremely dehydrated. Yet, the genius decided to play, and he handled the tough situation in his own way. He said, in his book, "The situation was so bad that I had to bath with tissues inside my underwear. I even had to go back to the dressing room during one of the drink breaks and was feeling extremely uncomfortable in the middle." Tendulkar managed to score 97 runs in that match, leading India to an important victory. He also ended the tournament as the highest run scorer. He proved again that it surely takes a lot of dedication to be the best. Number 3. The story of 4 sixes. Kapil Dev is the outright best all-rounder in Indian cricket history. The Haryana Hurricane has plenty of amazing records to show in his celebrated career. Well, he must have amazing stories to tell, but he has also become a wonderful story himself. In a famous narrative, he scolded an underworld don out of the Indian dressing room. But we write a story related to his on-field genius. On the 30th of July, 1990, Kapil Dev was batting with Narendra Hirwani against England at Lord's. Eddie Hemmings had 4 balls left in the over. India needed 24 runs to avoid follow-on. Hirwani was a sensational leg spinner, but he an orthodox number 11 with the bat in hand. So, Kapil Dev thought of a plan to avoid the follow-on. A very good plan. His idea was to hit Hemmings for 4 consecutive sixes in 4 balls. Crazily, he executed it perfectly, as he hit Hemmings for 4 grand sixes. The crowd erupted in disbelief. India had avoided the follow-on, but the story would not have been so good if Hirwani hadn't played his part to perfection. He provided the artistic touch to the splendid story by getting out LBW on the first ball of the next over. Brilliant. Number 2. An off-field heart-touching story of the wall. Rahul Dravid is one of the most humble gentlemen to grace the sport. In an age where the gentleman's game often fails to live up to the tag, Dravid lives as a role model for everyone. We have much to tell about the man's on-field class acts. But we share one of his off-field class act. The story had been narrated by a user on Quora. A year back, my friend was seriously ill with cancer. He was a huge fan of Dravid. So much that whenever he batted, he recalled Dravid's shots and tried to emulate them. One day a couple of us went to see him in hospital. He was being treated for blood cancer. His condition was critical and chances of recovery were negligible. We used to discuss cricket a lot. Even during his critical condition, when it was extremely difficult for him to utter simple words, he would relish any discussion on cricket. When we were leaving, he expressed a desire to talk to Dravid. We started contacting Dravid from all the possible sources we could, though we did not hope that we will get any reply from Dravid. A few days later, one of us got a call from Vijita, Dravid's wife. Dravid had gone through our emails. She was definitely touched by our efforts and expressed Dravid's desire to have a Skype chat. We were unsure if Dravid could make it because of his busy schedule. But he did. Dravid talked with my friend in the hospital for almost an hour. He apologized for not able to come in person. The smile on my friend's face was precious. He was beaming with happiness. Not just that, Dravid talked with his parents, his doctors and all other patients in the ward. Dravid made sure that he left my friend and his parents motivated after the conservation. Number 1. Playing with one eye. On the 1st of July, 1961, Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi, who in those days was playing for Oxford University in England, was involved in a car mishap. In a head-on accident with another car, a splinter from the windscreen entered his right eye, and he lost the lens of his eye. In his autobiography, he mentions that the surgeon told him, "You will find it better to play cricket using one eye, as a contact lens would take too long to master." That must have been quite disheartening, but Tiger never thought of giving up. He underwent an eye surgery, and in a matter of weeks, he was back in the nets in spite of vision problems. He writes, "With a contact lens in my injured eye I found I could get 90% of my vision. The only trouble was it made me see two of everything." The legend found his way through this handicap. adjusting his game in little ways, like opening up his stance. Magically, he made his debut for India in less than 6 months, and the rest, as they say, is history. His entire career after that accident has to be one of the nation's greatest cricket stories.